Y'all know what time it is. It's Wednesday, 6 p.m. right here on the West Coast, 9 p.m. over there by my man, Big Ragoo. And it's college football time again. We're getting ready to go in this again this week. Had a really good week last weekend. Should have watched the show on Saturday. They gave out some upset victories out here and all that good stuff. So stay tuned in. We're getting ready to go off right now again. How's everybody doing here? Let's start with Conor Mac, man. How you feeling over there? I see you got everything shined up nice, ready to go.
I'm shiny. I'm shine. Red prime. Yeah, last week was good. I think all of us did real well. La Tech covered. One Louisville covered for us. Close. And then our big one, Coastal Carolina. I went with the under, threw it in 2, but had the money line and the +7. But that was the one I lost. So, but all in all, a good day. I took South Alabama late, that late we were talking about. I took them plus that +11. So yeah, it was a really good week last week, guys.
Yeah, and I know y'all follow my man Big Ragoo. If you don't follow Big Ragoo 62, now is the place and the time to do it, because he laid out some bangers over there on his page and also shared a lot of information on the show with us on Saturday. Big Ragoo, tell them how it went, man.
I like the bright lights better than I do Twitter sometimes. I feel my oats are on the show a little bit. So we gave out upset special Louisiana to beat Iowa State, and we all had Carolina Coastal. We were all like that side, and Connor with the under especially. And Greg, shout out to our guy Greg, Undercover Greg, who was our guest on the show. He went 4-0 on the show, so give him a follow on Twitter at Undercover Greg. And also, the board, as a group, collectively, we did really, really well. Last week we gave out some early leans, and we're going to do the same thing this week again. We're going to take a quick look at the board, run it down, and then stuff we like early we'll get on, and, we'll give some opinions, and then we'll be right back at it Saturday morning again, 11 o'clock.
That's what's up, though. And make sure y'all tune in, man, right here, odds.com. Check us out Saturday morning and also every Wednesday like you're doing right now at 6 p.m. on the West and 9 on the East. Now, I'm going to just throw this one up in the air for all of us. Like, what sticks out for you from this weekend that you've seen on the field that you may carry over into next week as, just a guideline and, something that you observed with some of the games out there? How about you, Conor Mac?
Still trick to the under that we were talking about. I think you still have a few more weeks of everybody kind of getting together. And then the big one is watching these rosters, which we'll talk about today with the COVID, with everything that's going on with a bunch of missed kids. Like, I would love to take La Tech. We'll get into that +5, but they have 18 guys out, something huge this week. So we got to definitely take a look at these teams that players will be out, and then maybe still kind of look at the unders. But as they get going, everything should start flowing better as the weeks here go on. And the Big Ten comes back. That's good news. Right, guys?
Right.
They'll be playing. So, yeah, those are my looks going forward here. Keep an eye on next few weeks.
That's right. The biggest news of the day is the Big Ten for sure. Mm-hmm. But how about even bigger news last week with the Big 12 going 0-3 against the group of 5 schools, right? That's they looked a little bit rusty getting out of the gates. We know Kansas was going to be a little weak anyways, but Coastal put it on them pretty good. And then the big one was Louisiana taking down Iowa State and Kansas State and Arkansas State, which my man DJ Big Boss was all over on that game. That was one of his best plays of the day. Was that your best play of the day last week, the Kansas State?
Actually, my best bet of the day was that doggone Texas State game.
Oh, Texas State. Okay. I was thinking Arkansas State. But anyways, still solid work there. But yeah, and a lot of guys are going to be working off the rust. Some of these teams, a lot of times you think they have the advantage going in with the one game added away, but sometimes, depending on who they play, coming back the following week, it could work against them. But for the most part, I think it was a pretty good week overall. Mostly ACC and some Big 12 action because of, like Conor was saying, some of the games got canceled last week on account of the COVID, are going to get rescheduled. So you gotta skate on thin ice when you look at the COVID. Like one game we got a little bit of information on, and we didn't get to talk about it on the show, but I think I might have brought it up to you, DJ, was the Eastern Kentucky game where I think the opposite team, they had like 16 players out for COVID, but they still got their ass handed to them. So, I mean, it just depends on who the players are. You know, if it's a bunch of freshmen and the water boy, it don't mean nothing. But if it's key players, then you got to look at it.
Yeah. Well, I learned a lesson from the Texas State game about the COVID thing that I'm not going to be digging too far into how many is out and all that good stuff because they'll get you to fire off. I mean, beforehand, before you go into the game, it's nice to know. But I fired off on some COVID information on that game. And also I fired off on Texas State getting bit back from COVID. And it had a reverse effect on me. You know, Vic coming back took him a while the first half to even catch up to the game. You know, then they pursued the second half. But that threw the game off a lot. You know, I was going on the momentum from them playing in the other game, feeling as though they had an opportunity to win and coming over into this game and, you know, feeling even more chance of opportunity to win. So I kind of learned, like, back off the COVID stuff a little bit. Then I had got a hot call out of nowhere right before the game, and I believe it was Campbell and I forget who the other team was, but they said 33 guys.
Yeah, USF.
That game. Yeah, USF. They said 33 guys, and people jumped over Campbell on the money line. And, you know, even on the money line, they came up a point short. So, you know, and, you know, I thought about it deeply. Like, that's one of my theories. Big Ragoo know for a long time. I'm not too big on injuries and replacing players in college football because there's always a young guy on the bench that can't wait to get in the game. You know, there are some teams that have depleted depth at some positions, but at the same time, there's always a young kid somewhere that wants to be seen and be out on the field and play ball. And, you know, that's what you see happening in some of these situations, you know. And then a guy coming off of an injury, coming off a week off, he's not always a key player for performance, at least not right away until he gets acclimated to the game. So that's just a thing I observed going into this week, you know.
I was wrong. USF played Citadel. My bad. I had to check that. I forget who Campbell was playing. It was another school, not that one.
Yeah, I think they were like a 16-point dog or something, and going into that, and then last minute they released that news. So, you know, and then that's the biggest thing overall is, you know, you stay awake on what's going on with your bets that you thinking about laying because the information and news that moves so fast. And it's not like they just freely coming out with a nice place for you to go to say, hey, well, this team has this many people out, this many people back. I mean, all the COVID information that I found, either it comes up, you know, once it's already on the mainstream media, or it's something I went looking after, you know, a coach or a player, and then I go to the school front page or something like that, and I find that kind of information. So just, you know, keep digging. You got to keep digging in this. It's like digging for gold. You got to keep digging and looking under rocks and stuff to figure out what to do.
Yeah, no doubt. What do you say we get into this board here and start looking at some of these games early? We'll take it like we did last week. We'll start with some of the early key games. And then if you see something you like, you know, bring it up in between. Let's talk about Boston College and Duke. So,
oh man! So I've had a lot of time to go over a bunch of these games, and a bunch of factors that, you know, I haven't pulled the trigger on anything, but even though some lines have jumped, but this Duke team, most teams that play after playing a team like Notre Dame, you know, they learn a little bit more about pride and, you know, playing hard, and they usually carry it over into the next game. I've seen a lot of teams come off a Notre Dame loss to a good win. So the Duke really looked nice, though. Duke looked nice throwing the ball. The guy takes a lot of shots over the middle, though. That's kind of risky, but he throws really strong, and he shows some potential there. And but, you know, Notre Dame had pretty good defense on the other side on Duke. But then on the other side of the ball, on defense, they held Notre Dame pretty good the first half. They got up. It just, the class of athlete just kind of got to them in the third or fourth quarter when this 200 and something pound guy is running 4-2 coming out the backfield headed at you in the third, fourth quarter. You're not that excited to get in his way like you was before. So they kind of muscled them down a little bit. And that was to the luck of Notre Dame. Kelly says that the running game is back. I don't know. Maybe it's just the competition. But, they look pretty good overall, even in a loss in that one for Duke. So I like Duke a lot in this situation going in against Boston College. There's a lot of unknowns about Boston College. But we do know Boston College is down to throw the ball. They're going over since they lost A.J. Dillon. They're going over from a lot of run to more of a spread, the pass set, which means the ball's going to be up in the air. They did pretty good last year towards the end of the year, too. It was kind of funny to see a team we've seen, be a smash-mouth team for so long. They go over to this spread format, too. So Boston College, I think, is definitely going to put some points up on the board, and I also think that Duke is definitely going to put some points up on the board. And I think the total in that game is a little low at 52.
It's real low.
And I see another good spot for over in that thing right there. But I also like Duke as well. I think Duke's gonna be all right, man. Duke's gonna be all right. It's a shorter year. They're gonna be playing more teams that they're more used to playing, and they got a shot at beating a few teams. I mean, but they're gonna, other than Clemson and Notre Dame in the ACC, everybody else pretty much gonna beat up on each other.
What do you think about that one, Connor? You got any early looks on Duke and Boston College?
I don't. This game I really didn't love. I guess I give a little lean to Duke under the touchdown -6. Two teams I watched Duke play, and they played pretty well. Then Talon came in, Notre Dame second half, pulled away. Still couldn't cover. Notre Dame couldn't. But I'd lean a little bit with Duke here, getting under a touchdown. They've already, they played Notre Dame last week. They should be settled in, home game, and ready to roll. So that'd be my lean early on the Duke -6.
Yeah, I was thinking somewhere along the line. DJ was talking about them airing the game out a little bit. I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking that we know that Boston College has a really good offensive line, a la A.J. Dillon. He's gone now. They brought in a defensive coach, Jeff Hafley, because Diazzo's gone now. So I think this team is going to be geared, and they probably have some of the best linebackers, definitely in the ACC, that would hang with some of the other guys in other conferences, in the bigger conferences. So they got two linebackers that are really, really solid. So I think this team is geared to stop the run. So I don't argue with DJ on this team wanting to pass the ball, but I think they're going to have to establish the run first on both sides of the ball. Same thing with Duke. Duke has a pretty good pass defense, as you've seen, and we know Notre Dame lost some pieces on offense, receiver-wise. So this team they have a decent pass defense. So I think it's going to put the pressure underneath. I think Boston College has the advantage on the defensive line and the linebackers, but I think in the trenches, Boston College is built a little bit better than Duke is. So I don't know. I was thinking more towards the under, but 52. It has ticked up, like DJ said. We opened up at 51, 50. What do we say? 51 or 50 and a half up to 52 in some spots. So I would lean. My lean is to the under, even though it's going the other way. I would just lean on the under in this game here. Early look. How about
I like it. I like what you're saying on that one too. But I just think that that Duke, Duke's they're gonna score some points. That's one of their high points is their offense right now. So they're gonna have to rely on that. But
yeah,
yeah,
we'll see what that coach, the BC coach, does. I mean, Cliff, he'll at one point, he'll get that offense going. That's for sure. So maybe this is a game he figures some schemes out. But it's going to be a chess match, I think, in the first half for sure. What about Syracuse Pittsburgh? What do you, Connor? You like anything in that game?
I don't. I haven't really looked at that game much.
Okay.
Pittsburgh played really, really well. I had a lean with Syracuse last week. I didn't play it. Same thing with Duke, and they didn't cover by 1. Hung in there, missed a bunch of field goals. I think they missed 2. They left a bunch of points out there. They could have,
Syracuse,
they
didn't play real bad. They played pretty solid for 3 quarters actually, and then they gave it up late. They got outscored like 21 points in the fourth quarter.
North Carolina just kind of took over there in the fourth and got the cover. I still 3 touchdowns. I'm going to dig deeper into this game, but right off the bat, I lean Syracuse a little bit. Just get 3 touchdowns, Yeah.
I mean, it almost has the same feel as that game last week. I mean, I couldn't see me personally with a team that's like a 500 ball club and as many points as they had North Carolina favored. I had a hard time laying it, but our guy Greg had it, which he got the late cover there, so good for him. But I just had a hard time, and I was thinking I was right the whole time, and then that fourth quarter kind of blew up. But what about you, boss? You got anything on the Syracuse Pittsburgh game?
No, I'm not too high on Pittsburgh, and I don't feel like Syracuse did that bad a job, even though they didn't put very many points on the board, but they didn't get absolutely humiliated. And on the field, they look better than last year. Maybe not by a lot, but they look better than last year. And I think I noticed a lot of these lines this week. Looks like the line setters just picked it up, grabbed it, and ran with it. I think they're not considering the Syracuse played a quality team going into this one right here. Pitt kind of ran away with it, a little lower caliber team. So I'd see that 21 as give them here. I think that's a lot of points out there.
Well, Pittsburgh has the #1 pass rush in college football last year, and they're on a fast track offensively. So they got a lot of talent still. That team always competes, and that's outside of Clemson. This is one of those underneath teams that's always there. And matter of fact, when we broke it down last year, we picked them to them or Virginia Tech to kind of slide up in there to get their piece of the pie. But anyways, I don't have a play on that game as of right now, but I would think you see more of the same with what happened with Syracuse and North Carolina. I think Pittsburgh's just as well as clipped, if not better, in North Carolina. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys want to talk? What game you like, Connor? You got one you want to bring up?
The other morning game, I don't have much. You want to do Tulsa, Oklahoma State? I got an early. This was on the whole board. The only over I may be looking at, it's 60, I believe. Or no, it's 66. Sorry. It's really high. I don't know if I'm in it. Tulsa, Oklahoma State. You guys have 66? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got
I'm
too.
looking at that. I mean, Chuba Hubbard's back. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger. It's 23. I don't love that. But I think Tulsa can score some points easily on Oklahoma State. So it's one I'm looking at an over because I want to stay away from over-unders early, and I don't really love a lot of them this week. But that's the early lean I have on that game.
I think offensively they're going to be better this year than they were last year too. Oak State. And you're right, Tulsa can score points. They can put them up. And usually I think Tulsa's good. I think the last – matter of fact, hold on. I'm glad you brought that game up. Let me get my notes here because I'm old. I got to write stuff down, man. I don't hit the screen buttons like you guys can, man. But anyways, I know for a fact that I got it in my memory. Tulsa had averaged, I think, over the last 40 times these teams played, they've averaged like 27 points. So if they get 3 touchdowns and a half or whatever, let's say 4 touchdowns, between 3 and 4 touchdowns, we know that Texas, that our guys, Oak State, up until last year, they scored 40 points, but the 3 years before that, I think they scored like 59, and 60 some odd. So it's very well possible that Oak State can score 60 themselves in this game. So you only need 2 scores from Tulsa to make it work. And I know Oak State's defense is not top notch in the league. I know they're well improved, but I don't think they're going to blank Tulsa in this spot here. So I kind of with you on that one, Connor. I kind of lean very strong to the over in that game. That was that's one on the radar for me for sure. Okay. How about you, boss man?
That's a pass for me. Only thing that I see in these type of games right here is you got to be careful. These are in-state rival games, man. Some of these in-state rival is pretty hard to cover. Since we're going straight to conference play, and since they're scheduling games which are closer, less travel as they can as
big
possible.
Brother, little brother, but they do play. I mean, they have history here. It's not like they're going to play each other for the first time. But
but Oklahoma State is going to be, like you said, more offense heavy and way more improved than last year. They had some tough games last year that could have changed some things around for them too. So
very close, 1 or 2 games. Yep.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm not a big Oklahoma State bettor, but I agree with y'all saying though.
This is one team I had on the radar in the article that I wrote when I wrote the article about college football back in July. Mm-hmm. This team I had on my radar for I think it was plus 600 to win the Big 12. So I like this team a lot. So because it seems like that every year you see Oklahoma and Texas winding up in that shootout game, and then they turn around and they play each other for the championship, and whoever loses that game winds up usually winning the comeback game. But I think Oak State's going to be right there with them this year.
So what y'all think about Baylor and Houston? I think I caught just a few clips of Baylor, but I don't think they look as prime as they did without the coach over there at Baylor. Yeah, I don't think it's over there, and the kind of reflection on the line right here too in this one. Because
you were high on Baylor's defense last year.
Yeah. They got a lot of underplay done for me over there, but playing this Houston team right here, what y'all think about that with Baylor?
I don't love this game.
I'll let you go.
I don't love this game really that much. Brewers coming back for Baylor. They lost a few pieces on defense. It's just not one I like to watch this one, I think.
I think it's a fire sale.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Well, here's the reason. Here's the reason why. Houston, they kind of folded up the tent when De'Aaron King left.
Mm-hmm.
Left, early when he checked out early last year, and he sat on the sidelines, and Holgorsen put his son in as the quarterback. But I kind of figured they would kind of get some stuff underneath them moving forward to next year. And now here we are next year, given all the craziness and whatever else is going on. But I think Houston will be an improved team. But I mean, they bleed heavy on defense. They give up a lot of points, and I think Brewer still has, and Baylor's always putting out some serious wideouts. In that, they're talking Baylor's going to be like the next big team with Aranda coming over, not this year, but possibly down the road. But I think they're going to, if they stay in lockstep with what they did last year or even close, I think they're going to manhandle this Houston team points wise. And 7.5, that's if you can get 7.5, I don't know what it is right now, but if you can get 7, I would jump on that right now. That would be a play that I would make tonight. Matter of fact, I might do that.
Hey, y'all heard it first right here on odds.com. Big Ragoo's locked and ready to go tonight. I like the way that sounds.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The line now, I'm not looking at my notes. This is what they call a Vegas head fake. So the line went from 7 to 4.5. Bullshit. Bet the 4.5 right now.
Okay.
I'm telling you,
nice.
Lay it.
Y'all better take notes.
Vegas head fake. Lay the 4.5.
I'd rather lay it way more than take Houston +4, right? I mean, yeah, that would be my lean.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But if it loses, don't call me on Tuesday.
You don't know me. Yeah, don't call me.
So I know Navy and Tulane should be a pass for everybody, huh?
Yeah. What can we say about Navy?
Navy, they've got to get. Wow. I mean, wow. Yeah, that's a total pass. Tulane came out, pulled it out last week, but they didn't look great either. And took South Alabama getting the points at home, double-digit dog at home. Yeah, total pass for me here. Navy, Tulane, guys. You?
I might lean to the over in this game a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, both teams are going to give up points. I think both teams. I know Navy's going to give up points. I mean, I think they gave up 300 yards on the ground to BYU last week, and we know I mean, they can't get out of their way. I think the total is 49. So maybe if Navy can get 2 touchdowns, that might be a good over lean, possibly.
Navy didn't play no defense. Like they didn't even understand what defense was. Yeah. And I heard it was due to lack of preparation. They didn't get a lot of time to prepare for that at all. They couldn't tackle. They couldn't stop nothing.
I know Tulane is probably better than BYU on offense. You know, they have a little more spunky of an offensive type. You know, their schemes are a little bit more wide open here. I think they can run up some yardage on Navy, possibly. Maybe a good team total for might be a look for Tulane. I don't know what that might be. I don't have it in front of me, but team total Tulane over, whatever that might be. Maybe 28, 30.
Mm-hmm. I mean, 48 is not a hard number to get. And I believe in this week, a lot of those drop passes that we saw on those long balls are going to get caught this week as the players get a little more tuned up. So I love that over right there. You just woke me up out of my sleep.
Yeah, well, Tulane's going to mix it up too. They run the ball pretty. You know, they're run. I'm going to say run first, but I'm trying to remember what's the kid's name. McMillan, the quarterback last year. I mean, Willie Fritz. He's a great coach. I like his style, and I got burned by Tulane a couple times last year trying to go against them, but this year I had them on my radar to play on. But Navy, they didn't look good at all. So, what's the current number on that game? We're looking at what, 7 and 48.5, down from 49.5. So
here you go.
Down. Yeah.
Here's Tulane's team total 27.5 minus 125.
Over.
Yeah.
Just, you threw it out there. I looked it up with 27.5.
That's a
team total.
Well, I got one that I really like too. You know, since I can't do the Mountain West where I do the best, I kind of took a dive into the Sun Belt, and I got the same results I got out of the Mountain West. Is that a lot of out of conference play, they become unpredictable, and they get away with a lot of stuff and actually beat few teams. And the Sun Belt's doing well out of conference right now. But this one right here is more of a conference game, as we got Georgia State and the Raging Cajuns. Now, last week we was on the Raging Cajuns real tough, but we knew that what the issue was going to be with Iowa State. And I think Iowa State may be a team that's just totally playing down, because after the numbers came in for Louisiana, now no doubt that team played really tough as expected, but I say they probably could have run it up a little bit more and didn't. But they only on number wise, they did. Let me see what I got here. They did 272 total yards, 118 on the ground, 154 in the air. Now that's real efficient play right there to come out with the victory in that one. So I think that maybe they're not as high power offense as we thought they were going to be coming into this. And going into this conference match right here with Georgia State, the conference history on this one, it sides with the under. The conference history on this one, Louisiana beat them a lot, but ATS-wise, Georgia State kind of covers a little bit. And this one right here, I think the number could be a little too high with Georgia State in this one. So I'm taking the points with Georgia State against these Raging Cajuns that played really, really good last year. I mean, got everybody to some money. But like I said, I think the line setters are a little over-enthusiastic about what they saw, and they're not seeing the big picture, which is we going into conference play right here. And in college football, shit changes every time when you go into conference play. So it's going to change up a little bit right here. Iowa State, probably a team that's going to be playing down this year. And, they did what they were supposed to do, but they'll have a little more competition on the field with this Georgia State team that's been sitting around for a while. But, you also got the fact that this Georgia State team, may be a little bit shaky coming out. But I got Georgia State at a B+ on offense and also a B on defense. So they're going to be playing a good game, and it should be a nice match. So I like taking the points in that one.
Yeah, coming off that big win too, the other way. So could be.
Yeah.
But I don't think the chat doesn't agree with me at all. They say,
everybody's on that.
Said I'm taking the Cajuns.
Recency bias. Yeah, recency bias.
It happens. But when it comes down to college football,
you gotta watch.
Sometimes when you look at it, you can only see it one way, and that's the only way I can see it. I think that number is too high. If it would have been more around 10 or 10.5, something like that, then I would have been leaning more to saying maybe the Cajuns run away with this one. But putting it way up there, it's just too much bias in it.
Yeah.
And also,
I agree, boss. Totally with your assessment. I love the Raging Cajuns last week. I just think the number's a little high here. Georgia State went 7-6 last year. Last year they opened the season, beat Tennessee. They are having a quarterback change though, with redshirt freshman, this Brown kid, and he only played in 4 games and kind of mop up duty for 130 yards. Didn't throw a TD with interception. That's their only kind of question mark. But bringing back 16 starters to a team with Georgia State, you got to lean with the points. I think here too.
Yeah, and that's not to mention that they got 4 experienced offensive line on there. So in this one, I was for a while I was leaning to the over. When I seen the number, I kind of leaned more toward the under, just because it's a conference game. I expect Georgia State them to take their time. This happens in college football all the time. When it comes in the conference game, the public is thinking, oh, we about to have this exciting game that's going to go crazy. And the good coaches are thinking, hey, I'm going to take my time. So either way it go, I have a chance to stay in the game the whole way. So I think they're going to slow it down a lot more than, 61 points or something like that for the over-under. And I like the under in that one as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a matter for this team to stay focused, the Raging Cajuns, because I think they're with Napier. He's a locker room. He's a solid locker room coach. The players they're buying in. It's a pretty decent number, but I don't think they're going to have the average letdown because they're playing Georgia State and they're coming back the other way. I think this team's a little bit built a little differently. If it was a smaller, even though they are a mid school, I think if it was a lower level team, they might have had that issue. Maybe like Arkansas State. They like when they beat UNLV and they came back and played Georgia, they got stomped pretty good after that big win. It was an emotional game though. See, that's what you got to look at. Did they play an emotional game? Are they riding the wave type thing? But I don't know. 17. I think that's a little too high too. So I'm off of that game totally. I have nothing going on.
Well, like I said, even though they looked well on the field, the numbers didn't look as impressive. I had expected a lot more numbers offensively from them, but the numbers were really low, which means they played more efficient, which means they're on the side of
Iowa State's no joke, man. They were pretty good defensive. Iowa State's got a good defense.
Yeah, but they lost a few pieces on the defense too over there. But yeah, they do have pretty good defense. But when they wanted to open up and throw the ball downfield, they did a good job getting that ball downfield down there. Now they playing against this team right here. Like I said, 8 back on offense, 8 on defense, and the secondary's gelled a little together. I think these guys can't wait to hit field. And as far as the under is concerned, all you looking for is a first quarter that's 0-0 or 3-3. That knocks the whole when those numbers go up into the 60s. 1 quarter of no scoring throws that whole total further in your pocket than out of your pocket. So yeah, I like those two right there in the Sun Belt.
What about North Carolina, Charlotte? Any looks from any of you guys on that game?
No, I
don't know. That's another rival one, though. They're close together right there.
That's why I threw it at you, because I know you were talking about Tulsa and Oak State.
Yeah.
I want to see what your reaction was on this. 29 points in 60, 29 and a half in some spots. That's a big number. Opened up at 26 and a half, so it's already climbed 3 points basically. The totals dropped down from 62 and a half to 60. Shaded to the minus 110. If it's dropped down to 59 and a half on Bet Online, minus 115. So, any thought there?
We have to ask ourselves, can we say that North Carolina should have won by a lot more points than they did last week?
I don't think – no. I mean, they pulled away late, but that game was very close.
Because, Charlotte played a solid game against Appalachian State.
I like Charlotte.
In that first half, and they're a little scrappy right there. I don't know. That number might be way too high.
Yeah, I think
North Carolina will score easily. So the over might be a look. How much can Charlotte score against Carolina?
I mean, they put up 20 points on App State.
A little different, but yeah, App State's good.
I think a key issue here is that I think Charlotte lost their quarterback early in that game too. I forgot about that. So, but I think that's never good early in the season.
I think everybody likes Mac Brown. I haven't really met too many people that doesn't like Mac Brown. So I think there's got to be a little biasy because there's 2-3 numbers in that spread that's got Mac Brown written on it, and that doesn't really mean much. So I don't know. I wouldn't take it though, but I'll definitely watch it to see it.
Yeah. So that's a pass for me. I mean, I think the number's too big. I'm not going to put my faith in Charlotte losing the quarterback. So that's a no play for me totally. How about Wake Forest and NC State? Wake Forest coming off the loss last week, and NC State just getting ready to start up. So, Connor, how about you? You got anything here? Wake and NC State.
I don't early. Just from looking at it real quick, this one, no, it's tough. I really don't like this game at all. I don't like it at all. I'm going to dig into it a little bit more, but I didn't see anything that I liked. What about you guys?
How about it, boss?
Wake was I kind of like Wake's enthusiasm about playing Clemson, even though it wasn't much. But they was enthusiastic about playing them, and maybe they take some of that energy into this game. And if they do, they should definitely fly by NC State, being that we've seen how these first week outs been going for these teams. This is the most lopsided ever. Before you had 0 week, that team might have one game up on everybody. But now we got teams that are 2-3 games up on teams that are just hitting the field. And I was talking to someone about it the other day. Even from watching NFL, you hear old players like Michael Irvin, they come on there and they tell you, first game NFL guys who've been playing football all their life, what they're going to do. Oh, they're going to be cramping. They're going to be tired. All those kind of factors are just factors that just is what it is. And when you got those teams that have been playing a little bit to the team first time coming out, I'm going to side with the teams that have been playing the way just under the cramp factor.
Yeah, well, don't forget.
I look at Wake Forest here real quick. I just wish it was more than 2.5. Just take a money line. I wanted it to be more, but I think they got a good shot at going there and playing well and winning. But I'm laying off it.
I agree. I think this game has a feel of a type of field goal game. There's probably some back and forth either way. Wake, like you said, if you're going to lean Wake, you want to get at least the 3 there, maybe buy it up to 3 if you're a big Wake fan and you have a reason to get on them. But I don't know. I think Wake might have the advantage here a little bit as far as game readiness. Like we talked with Ian the prior week, last Wednesday. We're talking about the number of practices each team have, and I still haven't put my finger on that yet. But I know a lot of these teams haven't. Like one of our guys in the chat, God bless USA, saying that Baylor hasn't even had a practice yet. So that's kind of hard to believe. But, you got to look at stuff like that going forward. Just so this has a field goal look to it. I think both teams are equally talented. And probably give the lean on the offensive side to NC State here because new quarterback, new pieces for they lost their number one receiver, Wake Forest did. So it's probably the right line, but I don't see any value in that number right now. So that's going to be, as of right now, that's a no play for me also.
Okay, and the Florida Atlantic and Georgia Southern, that's a might not play game as well.
That's a might not play game?
Yeah, I think it might be fully postponed, but it's a might not play because of the COVID or something. But
really?
That one might be off the board at most books.
I don't want to be there, though. We'll see.
But App State and Marshall, what y'all think about that?
This one I like a little bit.
Good.
I like both teams here, so I like App State a lot, but I think Marshall's better, and they're getting 4 at home. So I'm leaning Marshall. I haven't took it yet. I've only took one game. We'll talk about it in a minute. But yeah, that's the early lean I have here is Marshall at home getting the 4.5. What about you guys?
Let me see.
I'm all over App State. I think that number is real low. It should have been a solid 7.5. We getting a gift right here. I mean, App State, despite how you might have looked at the game, they kind of poured it on late, came a little shy of the spread by a couple points at the end, but they did excellent on paper. I mean, they ran the ball 230 yards on the ground, 200 yards in the air, and even on defense, they held them to 129 rushing and 206 passing. Now, granted, they were playing, Charlotte, but at the same time, this was a tough game. That was a pretty tough game, being that was first them coming out. But I think Appalachian State did really well. I had them at the beginning of the season at an A+ on offense, and I had them on the B at defense. And I think the defense might be a tad bit better than I thought. And I might have to go up to a B+ on defense. And I think nothing's wrong with App State to make it seem like they should be only favored by 3 points right here.
All right.
Yeah, that's the young defensive pieces that they have. I think this is more like an App State type look a game. Where instead of laying the big 17s and stuff when they play, Marshall's they're a well coached football team, and you're looking at less than a touchdown. I mean, Marshall's going to be getting what's the number 4 you said?
4.5, yeah.
4.5.
Oh yeah, I seen it at 3 at one point, but yeah, it probably did go to 4. That's more like it, 4.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna win. I think it goes higher a little bit. So I'm on the Marshall side.
You're taking the points on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I think it continues to go up. Like I only took one game, so we'll talk in a minute, the Miami-Louisville game. But the rest, I'm waiting. I think it goes up higher. I think Marshall might get 5 or 6.
Well, I looked a little bit at Marshall, and Marshall's is going to be on a real upside year. Nobody knows where the ceiling is for this team, and they have a pretty good offense. But App State, they have a really solid defense, and they play in the Sun Belt. That running and passing, and they well coerced at playing either type of game. So I think out of conference, the Sun Belt's been doing good. This is the best of the Sun Belt. They're going to take it to Marshall.
Yeah, they do well. App State, an underdog role, especially short favorite. These are the kind of games you want to kind of get on App State if you want to get on them. Not when they're laying 17, or they're getting points. That type of game here. But I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one. I kind of think maybe the 4.5 looks good, like Connor says, but 3 looks good the other way, and 4.5 looks good the other way. So you know what I mean. So that's one of those games that I'm on the fence with. I don't have a play either way here. And would you say the Georgia Southern was a COVID type game? We might not get that game off, huh?
Yeah,
Was it? You want to talk about it at all? Anybody got any looks just in case they play it?
I have no look there.
No look. I got a little look here.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it.
Oh, we need all the Florida help we got with the Florida teams.
We know the story about FAU. You know, they won their division 2 out of the last 3 years. Lane Kiffin departed. He's up in Ole Miss now. And they get my favorite coach of all time, Willie Taggart, down there coaching them. So that's a good thing, right? That's a joke, right? Willie Taggart, former FSU coach. But, you know, they score about 36 points a game, yield about 22. I think the thing with the Golden Eagles, I mean the Southern Eagles, that they got to travel up there to play them. They used to be a pretty good Division II team back in the day. They got a new quarterback, a transfer, Nick Tronti, and they got a wide receiver, Aaron Young, who's supposed to make immediate impact here. So learning that new system, you know, we're talking about 7 points only. So you're talking about a team that's done very well in a competitive conference against a smaller school, playing on the road, new coach, new system. You know, if they might struggle a little bit depending on the number of practices this team's had. I don't know, 7 points. I think I like to take the points on the road with the home team here. If they get it off, I would lean with the Georgia Southern plus the 7.
There you go. You heard it first right here.
What about your team, Notre Dame and USF? Did we talk about that yet?
Here we go.
Hit it.
We'll save the big one for last.
South Florida don't got no reason to be playing Notre Dame, and especially at Notre Dame. This is a. I don't like laying that many points with Notre Dame, but this one should run out the building. Y'all seen everything I told you about Book and Kelly. You know, Kelly sent him out there a couple times. Hey, you're not tough enough. You need to go run that ball head first. And he sent them out there on a couple little quarterback dives and stuff. So going into this one, Book still got a lot to prove. And playing against the competition he's going to be playing, but they are some Florida boys. They fast. So if he can get a hold to the secondary like he did, he should tear him up. But with Kelly right there, either way it go, Kelly's going to find a weak point on the other team. He's going to manipulate it. We ran the ball exceptionally well with several backs. The offensive line looks great. The defense was stud. You know, I didn't see much wrong with the Notre Dame game. I should have stuck to my guns. Like, we're not in the business of beating teams by that many points. But this one's going to get away, and I'm going to lay the points and take Notre Dame.
Wow, you sound a lot different this week than you did last week about your team. So you're just thinking because of the competition they're playing. You said USF has no business stepping on.
They don't have. You know, we don't really get around with the Florida teams because of the Miami convicts versus cons things and all that kind of stuff. So we got something to prove in the stadium for Notre Dame. Things are coming together over there. Kelly was in the media talking about he looking at a national championship. And I've seen some things he said that he's recruiting guys now. You know, and they even spoke about the whole thing, you know, which is the big elephant in the room, the academic requirements for players and the type of players he's able to recruit because of that. But he's well aware of that. And he said I think he got a contract extension. He said he's headed in there to win him a national championship. And on a short year like this, you know, he might be able to get it. And he came out today and said, look here, ACC, y'all only got us for 1 year, and we out of here.
Hey, you're not pissed off because South Florida beat you guys at home 9 years ago, are you?
9 years ago? That was one of Kelly's second year when he didn't really have nobody or none of that good stuff. Yeah, he owed it to them to run the scoreboard up this time. And you know, we gotta fire the ball downfield and see what we got. So we tested our receivers a little bit. They did a decent job. But we got to see who's going to get that long ball. We got a nice tight end over there to throw it to in the middle. Notre Dame looking pretty nice. I'm glad I didn't overlook it this year and was expecting things, you know, because of the COVID. I didn't blue gold game, none of that good stuff. But because I'm looking, I guess, from the back seat right here, it looked pretty good.
Yeah. All right. I'll take your advice on that one, my man. So you were all over that game and you were with conviction. So I'm gonna ride your coattails on that one. I'm
usually not that confident. Last week I made it to the window with the under after all the stuff I talked on the show and everything, and I think I bounced around on every side of that game. And it's one thing that me and Noli always talk about. There's a lot of bets and concepts out there that and this is one right here too that, if you take them, you got to take them every time. For whatever to make sense, you got to take them every time. And if I took it every time that I thought it with Notre Dame, then I'll probably be in the plus. But because I doubt myself, I kind of missed out on an opportunity right there. That was a classic game of why we don't blow out teams by that many points. We take the game slow. We're not scared to kick it on third and short. All kinds of different elements to the way that we play would lead us not to score that much. But this little trigger-happy guy, Book, if he got a chance to show everybody that he can throw the ball, this will be his opportunity against South Florida.
We're going to cover two more games and we're going to be done. We're going to talk about UCF, Georgia Tech, and we're going to close with Miami, Louisville, because I know Conor's chomping at the bit to get his action in on that one. So let's start out with this UCF, Georgia Tech game. So Georgia Tech had a nice win against my team up the road, FSU, and I put that whole game on our quarterback because Blackman, he looked awful in the second half of that game. He was blowing it. But anyways, I'm not making an excuse for him. They just played bad. Okay, so UCF at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech coming off that big win, right? They're not gonna come up against a UCF team that's gonna lay low with this team. UCF is gonna score and score and score again like they always do. Now Georgia Tech, 10 guys back on the offense. We showed that they were getting some production there. They kind of muscled around FSU, kept them off balance at times, and they had some nice looks going there. But I think this game here, UCF is going to kind of give them a little bit more than they can handle here. The key for Georgia Tech to kind of stay in this game is going to have to be ball control, which they're going to try to keep that UCF offense off the field. And if they can run the ball, then obviously they'll accomplish that and maybe try to keep them off the floor. But I think UCF is going to score in bunches, and I think UCF is going to cover this game pretty easily. Any thoughts?
That'd be my lean as well, but I don't like it. I just don't like that game. I don't like the 7 and the hook. Nothing I love there as a team on the road in Central Florida. I know they've had a great squad the last few years.
It's a big letdown game for Georgia Tech.
It is. But
we got a question in the chat that says, "What do you think about the over in that game?"
The over. What are we looking at? 60.
Yeah, I got it right here.
60, 62, up 62, 62, 61 and a half, 62. UCF's defense isn't really that bad, believe it or not. Yeah. As everybody focuses on their offense, but their defense is pretty good too. I don't know if Georgia Tech is going to put up those kind of numbers against them. I mean, you see what they did to Florida State. What was the final of that game? You remember the Florida State game? How many points did they? Yeah, what did they score in that game? I don't have it in front of me, but I don't know. 62. I think it's gonna be an uphill climb on account of Georgia Tech. If UCF scores quickly, then they're going to put the pressure on Georgia Tech to come back and score.
16-13 game against Florida State.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That they're going to try to take that same approach to kind of keep UCF. UCF is going to be quick strike. Georgia Tech is going to be, grind it out. So I think you got contrasting styles here. Now, if UCF has their way, and they get a couple turnovers in between, then maybe they get close to that number possibly. But I would that's a stay away from me. I would just definitely take UCF and less than the two scores to cover that number, the 7.5. I do that before I even mess with a total.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, let's jump right on into your game, Conor Mac.
Kick it off, Conor, with the Miami Louisville, 2 undefeated teams going at it, 2 impressive dynamic quarterbacks going at it. Take it away, Connor.
Yeah, this is a good game. And Louisville got whipped by Miami last year. But I don't like the revenge thing too much, but I got to lay the 2.5. Miami just hasn't played well on the road. So, and I know King's in, but I already laid the 2.5 with Louisville. I'm taking them at home. Like I said, I don't love the revenge whole thing, but I like it in this spot at home. Miami just isn't the same team on the road the last few years. Yes, they got a different guy quarterback in King, but that's I already took this game. I took Louisville minus 2.5.
Okay.
What about you guys?
How about it, boss man?
I wasn't totally impressed with Miami. I did see the whole thing coming together with King. I see why they got him there, and how he helps the offense. But the line, he still don't have the line that he really needs to really function like that. You got to throw him outside the pocket on the rollout in order to make him do what he does. So that's kind of difficult. But then some teams have a problem covering that, and some teams do well doing that. So I don't know in regard to that. This Louisville team, I'm still sitting back trying to become a believer. I might be a little late to the party, but if I feel like if you like Louisville, then you better jump on the train now, because if they get past this one, if they blow past this one, then they're gonna be something maybe to reckon with over there. But if they struggle with Georgia Tech like Florida State did, then we still got the same Louisville we had last year. We lost Big Ragoo.
No, you didn't lose me. I'm back. Hang on a sec. There I am. I had to get something because we can't forget about our guy Ian. Ian's going to be back with us Saturday. Hopefully everything goes well. But I want to mention some of Ian's plays that we talked about in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just about to do it. Okay.
Oh, you're going to do it? Go ahead. Bring him up.
Roll.
So anyways, Ian says that he has already played money line on Louisville minus 125, falling in line with Connor right there. He likes Houston plus 4.5. I guess he's going against me there, right? He's going with the house in Vegas there. And he said, I bet against all three teams dealing with severe COVID-19 situations entering this week. Those teams are betting against now FAU, UL Monroe, and La Tech, Louisiana Tech. He took all three teams, and he took Georgia Southern plus the 1.5, which he's kind of with me there, and Texas State minus 5, and Southern Miss minus 5. So we got that. That's a lot. He's got a lot of plays. Louisville money line minus 125, Houston plus 4.5. All three COVID teams, FAU, UL Monroe, and Louisiana Tech against them. Then he took Georgia Southern, Texas State, and Mississippi, Southern Miss. And then let me give you my look on the Miami game, and we'll get the heck out of here. So I agree with our guy Connor. I like Louisville at home, but I like even better the over in that game.
Okay.
I rode hard last year, Louisville, on a bunch of overs, and I cashed a bunch of tickets. I think Miami with the dynamic play of De'Aaron King, they had 300. Even though UAB is supposed to be solid on the defensive side to slow the run down, they accumulated over 300 yards rushing. I think he's the X factor for that team. I think Louisville still has some issues on defense that might have some trouble, maybe not necessarily slowing him down, but containing him. So I think plays are going to come in bunches. I think points are going to come in bunches here. I just hope Louisville wins the game because I can't stand Miami. Sorry, Miami fans, because I'm an FSU guy. So I think we get maybe like a 37 to 34 type game here, or 42-35. I think it's going to be a high scoring affair, and I love the over here. I said lean over at first, but the more I think about it, I like the over, and like is going to turn to love. And when I put my money down, I'm going to be in love with the game. So I'm going to ride that train I know it's ticked up a little bit, and I still think we still get a 40 to 30. I think we get 70 points in this game somehow. 40s and the 30s. Either way, either Miami, hopefully Louisville, but either way, 40s and 30s, both ways here. So, and that's the game I like too, right there, that Louisville over.
I like it. I'm totally off that game. Like I said, I want to sit back and watch that one, see how that goes down.
So that's it, guys. Listen, for DJ Big Boss, for Conor Mac, for Big Ragoo, and for our guy Babano Ian, we'll see you guys back here Saturday morning. I'm hoping 11 o'clock. Check your times to make sure. Last week we started 11:30, but tentatively we'll say 11, between 11 and 11:30. Check the channel for the information. You guys got any parting shots before you roll out?
Nothing. Everyone in the chat, all our guys, thanks for coming out tonight with us. And yeah, picks will be ready Saturday morning, locked and loaded. All right, boss, you?
Let's go. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Come back and see us on the weekend. We have some more plays for you, some more insight, and there'll probably be some new COVID news too.
All right. We'll see you guys Saturday.
All righty. Later.
Peace.